Right boys, in this video I'm going to share with you how I managed to never work a job in my whole adult career. I'm 25 now, started being an entrepreneur when I was 17, made a lot of money on the internet, and here I am. I'm currently in Dubs right now, Dubai mate. And yeah, you know what it is, I've always taken all this for granted, yeah, the freedom aspect. Now, at the same time, freedom, I didn't have much freedom because I was working a lot, but I didn't have to ever, like if I really needed to go somewhere, I never had to ask a boss. And if I really needed the money, I could just pay myself, so I had the business. And those little things, I never had the job to compare it to, so I always just thought it was normal, but those are kind of massive things. And look, I see a common mistake with everybody when it comes to actually getting out of the job, and I get why it's hard, because what people do is, they build up all these extra things that hold them back. So they'll get the car, they'll get the extra bits on finance and get all these bills, jump in the new build house, and they'll basically build a little prison for themselves, right? And look, if you're sat in a job and you're going to work every day and you're hating it, you feel like you're wasting your time, you don't like your boss, you don't like how he speaks to you, you don't like the people you're around, you don't like the area that you're in, you're watching these people online that are living and having a freedom lifestyle, and you just really want it and you just can't see how you can get there. This is the same system that I used to go from completely flat broke. I had no knowledge in anything, don't come from a rich background, no family connections, didn't have any knowledge or specific talents, right? I had nothing. And this is the system that I used, and this system is something that anybody can do. It's not a secret hack or a trick. You probably know the answer to this already. And this is just coming from someone's account who's actually gone and done it, right? And if I can help you with that, it's going to be massive for you. I was lucky where I fell into the entrepreneurship early, and I built that confidence. And that's a big thing with it. It's about building the confidence, but there's a few things that you can do to position yourself in a confident way to where you feel like you can quit your job. And this is the step one. This is where most people get tripped up. And look, all the guys that you see online, the ones that are legit and not scamming people, actually built a business on the internet, they went through these steps or something similar. And if you can get through this is one of the hardest bits, believe me, right? When you start making a little bit of money with your business, scaling that business, it's not easy, but it's so much easier than the beginning and what you have to do to get there. And it's hard because the step one is the hardest bit. That is when you are the least prepared. So let's get straight into it. But in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can quit your job in the new year. Now, just a little bit of background. I've never had a job. I've been working for myself for 8 years. And I fell into entrepreneurship, not necessarily because I was a natural entrepreneur, which I kind of was, to be honest, but I couldn't get a job. I could not get a job. Even like JD Sports, couldn't get a job. Didn't understand why. Started buying and selling stuff, ended up being an entrepreneur, made a lot of money on the internet. Bing, bang, boom, jobs are good un, yeah? So, look, when I started being an entrepreneur, God bless the internet, I made a lot of money on the internet, man. Like, more than I knew what to do with, and, you know, it really was a blessing. But also, I've lost a lot more than you could think, and it's a weird thing because when you're working for yourself, you do start making a bit of noise online. I'm not saying I'm big on online, by the way, but you know, if you have a business for yourself, people in your area will get to know and you'll get talked about, and you know, the thing is, you'll get this reputation that everyone thinks you're killing it all the time. And anyone who's worked for themselves, any entrepreneurs, business owners out there knows that that's furthest from the truth, right? You can have 1 month that's amazing, you can have 1 month something terrible has happened. I've had months where I've lost 20k in damaged stock from natural disasters. Natural disaster basically being there was a massive leak from heavy rainfall, yeah? Destroyed loads of my stock, almost put me out of business. I've been hacked, I've been scammed, I've been robbed, I've been lied to, I've been deceived. But I've also made a lot of money in a day, you know, I've also made 20 grand in a day before. And these things, this is what comes with entrepreneurship, right? And how these sound like cool stories now, which obviously making the money is cool, but when all the bullshit's happening, it's not too cool, yeah? You're actually very stressed, you're actually worried, you're actually panicking. And people don't realise that all the guys that are making money out there, they are the ones that can deal with those problems. So what I do see is, I see some people who want to work for themselves and hate the job and this and that, but they're not emotionally set up to work for themselves anyway, so essentially they're wishing for something that they haven't invested enough in about to know that it's not for them anyway. And look, I want to just start by saying there's nothing wrong with working a job. Because I know people who work jobs and they're much happier than me, even when I was, at my top and making a lot of money, right? So it's not all just about you've got to work for yourself. I did think it was that, yeah? You don't have to do that. And look, it's not like that. But what it's really like working for yourself for so long, you're not making money for a long time, my friend, yeah? And this is why people never stick at it and never actually make it happen. Because they cannot handle the fact that they're not making money for a while. Because they feel shit about themselves, which I certainly did for a very long time. They can't handle the lifestyle change, not going out spending money, doing stuff, living your life, being young and not living your life. They can't handle the fact that people are progressing around them and they don't feel like they're progressing. There's a lot of emotional challenges that come with this, and people don't realise that. But, it is possible for you, right? But it's constant stress. Now, this is what people expect. They expect freedom, quick money, loads of earnings, easy life, working less, stress-free life because you work for yourself, show up to work when you want, get out of bed when you want, go on holiday when you want. But in reality, complete isolation in the beginning especially, right? You've got to go into a monk mode period. You've got to focus. You've got to cut people off. You've got to learn a massive new thing. You've got to deal with all these mental problems that are sat on your mind on your own all the time, yeah? You're going to be working for free for a very long time. Just because you start working for yourself doesn't mean you're making money, my friend. Sometimes you do all the things right, you put the cash down, you put the time in, you make the moves, and you still don't get paid. But that's the game of entrepreneurship, right? Anyway, working free for a very long time. You're living a hard life, yeah? It's not fucking fun, right? When something starts working, it's super fun, right? But what becomes before that, before the sunshine, is the rain. The rain is not fun, right? But you've got to handle the rain to get the sun. You understand what I'm saying? And you're working all the time. It's 7 days a week, man. Early till late. It's not 9 to 5. This is the one thing that you need to get your head round. Everyone wants to work for themselves, but then it comes to bank holiday and they're going out on a bank holiday weekend drinking alcohol. Well, why do you think you can not be an employee, but then take employee holidays? Doesn't really make sense, does it? And this is a feeling that you're going to get. This might be just down to my mental health, but this is what I feel. Constant pain. Constant pain. You will always have problems on your mind, and you're going to feel them, right? So here's what I did in the beginning, right? And bearing in mind, I just want to tell you, I'm not from a rich background. I'm from a working class part of Bradford, yeah? Working class family. Never had any money. I had no knowledge on anything whatsoever, really. And I had no intrinsic skills. I had no connections. Yeah, we're a little bit money-minded, but I still had a very much working-class saving mentality, right? When you're just saving everything. I had a few things towards money in my mind that was broken, right? But I didn't have any knowledge, skills, or money, right? So I was going into this with nothing, right? So what I did was, I know monk mode's popular now. Everyone tells you to go through a monk mode, hyper-focus, meditation, all this. I didn't do it like that. My monk mode wasn't super clean. My monk mode was, I'm working every hour I possibly can to make as much money as I can. This is what I did in the beginning. This is not what I recommend to you, by the way. This is just what I did. So I cut off a lot of friends. I limited my time with people. I stopped going to social events. I stopped living my life, is what I did. Started saving all of my money. I started saving everything. Now, a big part of this, for me in the business I was going into, I had to buy lots of stock. I had to buy hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of stock, right? So I knew that the competitors I was going up against, I would need a lot of money saved. You don't have to do that in every business. If you want to just be a social media influencer or something like that, or a fitness coach, you don't need cash for the stock. Maybe you don't need to save as much money, but you have to adjust your life based on the type of business you're going in. Anyway, the one that I chose, where I had to have money up front, I had to buy the stock, right? It was expensive. That's why I cut my living expenses down so much. But in the beginning, you have to cut down your living expenses. I'm sorry to tell, guys, I've already explained what the type of things that you have to do. So if you weren't repelled by the first ones and you're like, yeah, I can deal with that, then that means that this video is for you and you want to quit your job and you want to get out of it, yeah? These things, I'm telling you, are not cool, but these are what you have to do. They're not cool at all. They're fucking shit. They are not fun, yeah? There's no going out. There's no cocktails on Saturday. There's no trips to Dubai. You can't go IBZ with the boys. You can't buy the D Squared t-shirt. You can't spend £40 a week on vapes. You can't do all that shit. You can't do it. Yeah, and that's for everybody, whatever business. Now, the reason why you can't do that is because you need to build some money up, right? And I'm trying to not make this sound like a sweet treat, because it isn't. Yeah, what we're doing here, we're purposely going broke. Because we're trying to get the money to give the option for our next move. And the next move is a business. Because if you're quitting your job, you need to earn money from somewhere else, right? I'm talking about being an entrepreneur here. So if you want to do that, this is what you've got to do. And look, you might be 26-year-old watching this, maybe older, and thinking, well, I don't want to do this for 2 years. I don't want to live broke. All my mates are having kids. This is me right now. All my friends are having kids, moving into houses, going here and there and everywhere. All seem on Instagram to be living it up. And look, the older you get, the tougher this is going to be, right? But the thing is, you've got to understand, in 2 years, you are turning 28 anyway, my friend. So it's either go through 2 years of pain, yeah, or don't, and just live in pain for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's the way you got to look at it. But you're going to get older anyway. That's the simple fact of it. The younger that you're doing to try this, you can make a lot more sacrifices in your teenage years. That is why it was easier for me, because all my friends weren't doing these interesting things. I didn't feel like I was missing out. So I was sacrificing a lot. I sacrificed a lot of my teenage years, don't get me wrong. I didn't do the same stuff that a lot of people did. But I wasn't feeling like I was missing out, because my friends weren't doing anything that interesting anyway, right? But you're aging either way. You're turning 28 either way, pal. Yeah, I've written at the bottom. So that's what it is. And look, if you want to quit your job, you need these 3 things. Only these 3. Don't overcomplicate it. Breathing room money. Because the reason why you need breathing room money is because if you're going to start a business, you need the money for the business, okay? And you also not only need the money for the business, and let me just tell you, right, the business I went into was a difficult one because you had to have so much capital up front. You don't have to do that with every single business. A lot of businesses nowadays, even e-com businesses, you don't need any capital because someone else will just ship the product for you. It is easier than it's ever been to get involved. You need a little bit of money for paid ads, but compared to what you'd have needed before, it's way less. It's a different model. It's a different game, yeah? So you need a little bit of money because you need a breathing room. Now, when I say breathing room, most people are living wage to wage. They start taking all their expenses, they get a car on finance, spend all the money on designer clothes, and they go out drinking cocktails every fucking weekend, don't they? Well, you cannot breathe doing that. They're always suffocating, and what they're doing is they're buying all these things just to remind themselves or feel like they're not in a sticky situation, but in reality they can't breathe. They're always chasing the tail. They buy stuff to mask the feelings that they're actually dealing with, rather than actually dealing with the feelings, right? So the reason why you need a little breathing room period is because imagine what you could do. You're going to a job now, and if you're watching this video and you hate your job, or maybe you think your job's okay, but you just really got this thing inside you where you want to actually make something with your life. Well, you need to have a period of time to learn. Don't be one of these guys who thinks, I can just start a business straight away and it'll start making money, because A, you can't, nobody can. Literally nobody can do that, right? Even the most smartest people you know, nobody can do that. And B, if you do expect yourself to just make it work straight away, then when it doesn't, your self-esteem is going to be pretty bad. Your confidence is going to get knocked. You're going to quit, aren't you? So the reason why we need a breathing room period is because we're trying to get 6 months, 12 months, maybe longer period of time where we can try and make a business work. And imagine what you could do if you had all the time that you're working in your job, but working on yourself. You're working on something that you're passionate about. You're working on something that can change your family's life. You're working on something that can really change everything for you. You get extra energy and extra power on it. So if you had all your time freed up and all your focus on that, you can do a lot with that. And look, I'm telling you this, I was a fucking broke idiot kid. Yeah, I went and did it, but I was dedicated to this process. That's the only difference. I have friends who have way more talent, way more charismatic, way more positive than me, stronger than me, better looking than me, more skilled than me, but the difference is They just don't go through this step. They will not do the step one. And it pisses me off because I see so much potential in them and they just won't do it. So the guys willing to do this are the guys that are going to bear the fruit of the labour. Now, the next thing we need knowledge on a business. So how do you get knowledge on a business? Well, I went on YouTube. Yep, I went on YouTube. Now, can you make a lot of money off YouTube? Absolutely. But what took me a long time to understand was 6 people have 6 different paths to the same goal, right? Now, when you're on YouTube, when you're watching one guy for one part of your business, one guy for the other, well, they've all done it in a different way. So what you end up doing is you end up following 6 different paths. Now, if 6 different paths lead to the same place, but you're following it in 6 different ways, you're probably still going to get lost. It's more confusing. So you're better off just listening to 1 or 2 verified people who've actually been there, actually done it before. That is the best advice I'd give you with this, right? And look, I spent hours on YouTube. My teenage years were just YouTube, early to late, watching. And I wasted a lot of time, don't get me wrong. I wasted a lot of time, right? If I knew there was coaching back then, I'd have just paid for coaching and got there faster. Listen, I'm not telling you to pay for coaching from me. Do whatever you want. But if you want to time travel and get there faster, pay for coaching. It took me a long time to learn that. Now I pay for coaching. I'll just pay for coaching to get the answer, because if I'm messing around for 2 years on something that I could have just got the answer off by paying £2,000-3,000, what's the opportunity cost you've missed? That's why coaching is so worth it. And we're blessed on the internet because people can sell information as a digital product, so they can sell it unlimited times. It's a blessing for both parties, man, really. So yeah, get coaching to get there faster. The next thing we need is time. Now, if you're a teenage kid and watching this, that's the one that you've got. You've got a lot of time. What I did was I transferred my time to knowledge, time to money, to get more of them, right? If you've got no time, you can transform your extra money to knowledge and time. You can leverage these off of each other. But you need the time. If you're in a 9-to-5 job, don't tell me you've not got time if you're working 5 days a week. You've got all day Saturday, you've got all day Sunday, you've got on night times. You've still got 20-30 hours a week in the bag. And I know what you're going to be saying, well, I don't want to work my job and do this thing on a night. Well, if you don't want to do it, you're not going to quit your job. That's just as simple as it is. You either want it or you don't. And I'm just trying to be as frank as possible with this. You either want it or you don't. It's as simple as that, yeah? You can go, if you want it bad, you'll find the time. If you don't really want it, then you won't. It's as simple as that. Anyway, if you're really serious about this, it's going to take 6 months to 3 years. 6 months on the low end, 3 years on the higher end, right? You're going to be making money within a couple of years, really, if I'm being honest with you, because, you know, this online stuff's a blessing, man. It really is. Like, people are making money online. I mean, I'm in Dubai now for a mastermind, and look, people are making 300k a month, 20k a month minimum, 50k a month. People are making money on the internet, man. They really are. Do not sleep on this opportunity. It can't stay like this forever, surely not. And look, your only focus, let's just make this super simple for you. Super simple. You need breathing room money and you need to save more money. So you can either save more or earn more. Both is best. Yeah, there's only 2 ways you can get more money together. Earn more, save more. Do both at the same time, you're doing double. Yeah, that's the way I used to look at it. Because we're trying to get this breathing room money. For the breathing room, just set a target. Sit down and just add up. What is your bare minimum living expenses? By bare minimum, I mean, what is it costing you to shower, sleep under a roof, and eat, and a little bit of transport to get to your job and back? What is it? Is it $500 a month? Is it $1,000 a month? What is it? Figure that out. Set 6 to 12 months of expenses, whatever you feel comfortable with, and that is your target. You're going broke until you get the target. Because when you get the target, now you've got the options. Now, in this period, because you're cutting your friends off, hold on, sorry about that. You shouldn't cut all your friends off, by the way. That's bad advice. I almost said that. Don't cut all your friends off. That's a mistake I made. But limit your time. You can't be spending time playing Xbox at your mate's house on a Thursday. That's your work time. If you want to quit your job, that's your work time. You've got to be spending the extra time, right? Don't cut off everybody like I did, like a crazy person. Just go see him on 2 hours on a weekend. But it don't have to be every single day. You don't have to be wasting time all the time. Bear in mind, this is just a short period of time. This is just a stepping stone. This is the main focus with this. This is not forever. So don't get clued up or too down about it. It's not forever. It's painful. It's shit. But if you go through that period of time, it's going to be the stepping stone to actually starting your own business. And it's not always about adding extra things into your life, but sometimes you need to cut out things from your life. So cut the things out that are not going towards your goal. You have to be massively goal oriented. Anyone you see killing it online, they've put massive sacrifice into this. And look, you want to be learning about the business you're going into. So if I'm setting a target for saving 7k in 12 months, 6 months, whatever it is, well, I'm also going to set the target of learning about my new business for an hour a day. So now I'm learning for an hour a day. Now I'm saving money towards the 7k. So what I'm doing is I'm collecting knowledge and I'm collecting finances at the same time. Now, when you're collecting both of these, by the time you hit the finance target, you've gathered all the knowledge, and now you can quit your job. Now you've got the time. So now you've got all three assets. You've got time, knowledge, and finances. So you actually have the time to execute, and you have the headspace to execute, which is important. You can focus on your goal. You have the finances to do it, and you have the knowledge and the time to actually focus on the flipping thing, right? So this is about putting yourself in a good enough position, okay? See, this gives you options. Now, for the business model, you have to choose one. Don't spend too long. They all work. Disclaimer, all business models work. It's the business owner that makes them work or makes them not, right? For me, I chose e-commerce, yeah. I grew up selling stuff on eBay. It made sense to me. It's the same as eBay. You list something for sale, the better pictures you have, the better customer service, the better description, the more money you can charge. If you add returns, you can charge more money. You can sell it on there. You've got the item, they need the item, can't find it anywhere else. Bing, bang, boom, you've made the sale. Shopify is essentially the same. There's a lot more layers to it, but that's the same, right? And, you know, I still had no knowledge on Shopify. I still didn't know anything. I went through this process and I got the knowledge together. And e-com is the only business model where you can get paid in 24 hours. You've got to build a website, you've got to find the products, you've got to set it all up, build your logo, whatever, URL, whatever. That needs to be done. It can be done in a day, but you can take a few days. It's not going to make a difference. But once you've got the advertisements, right, once you've set Facebook ads up, that is the only business model you can be getting paid in 24 hours. Yeah, there's extra cost in there, but you can only get paid in 24 hours off of e-com. You're not going to get it through doing cold outreach. You might do, but it's going to take a long time, right? So that's why I chose e-com. And look, quick guide there. If you're in a job and you hate it, I don't think anybody should be working a job in this day and age. But the guys that are willing to go through this are the guys that don't have to do that. And just to be absolutely real with you, you know, pick a business model like e-com. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. None of them are. None of them are. It's hard work. But this is the hardest step, and it's step one. And once you can get past that, you're going to have some options. And I hope that helps. All the best. Subscribe to the channel down below.